Hey everybody, we're so glad that you are here. So glad that we are starting a new series today. You can tell it's my summer look. I got my summer hat and my summer shades going on, which I can't really see very well, so with them on inside, so I'm going to put my regular glasses on. But we're starting a new series, and basically it's summer survival tips. I care about you guys, and I love summer, and I know that summers are full of adventure, summers are full of fun, summers are full of friends, summers are full of all sorts of things. But I also know this, in working with you for a while now, is that summers are actually opportunities for people to have some really hard things happen or have some negative things happen as well. So I want to give you some summer survival tips. I'm going to start with a bit of a story that happened to my mom. It's a true story. Her dad built a house in North Van, and as he built a house, he built a garage, and then he started building a regular house on top of it, or beside it, and they would kind of live as he built the houses. So my mom and her brother were in their room, and they're in two different beds, and the room was pretty much done, but it had no doors or windows in it, okay? So the windows were still kind of open and things like that. Well, all of a sudden, her brother heard some sounds, kind of like little grunting and sounds, and he was scared, and he kind of called out to his mom, says, Mom, there's a noise in my room. She said, well, what is it? He said, there's a bear in my room. And the mom, thinking it's just kids not wanting to go to sleep and making up stories, she yelled back, just put the covers over your head and go to sleep. So my mom and her brother, they did that. They put the covers over their heads and went to sleep. And in the morning, my grandma came to the room, and no kidding, right on the floor, in between the two beds, there was a big pile of bear scat. There was a real bear in their room. Now, if that ever happens for you, just a tip, that's probably not the best advice, just to put a sheet over your head, but actually, you never know. I love these books called The Worst Case Scenarios, and we're going to be looking at a different case each week in our series. And this one actually talks about bear attacks and what to do. It says, what do you do if you see a bear? And nowhere in here does it say to cover your head with your sheets, but it says make your presence known by talking loudly or using bear bells. It says keep children close at hand and within sight. Not in the next room, maybe. There's no guaranteed minimum safe distance from a bear. The farther is the better, so get away from it if you can. And you're in a car, remain in your car. It says, what does say to lie still and quiet, so maybe that was a good thing that they did. It says, stay where you are, but don't climb a tree, because bears can climb trees too. And if you're lying still and the bear attacks you, it says strike back with everything that you can. So that's what it talks about in surviving a bear attack. I hope that none of you have a bear attack this summer. But there is a survival tip that I want to start off with, and it's this. Be choosy with whom you hang. Be choosy with whom you hang. So be choosy with the people that you're going to spend your time with and hang out with. Be choosy with your friends. That's what I'm talking about. And in summer, we spend a lot of time with our friends. It's in summer that also we meet a lot of new people and maybe even start new friendships. And you know something? I just want to say right from the start, friends matter. They really matter. They are important. Why? Because your friends have influence. Now, I don't know if you know this, but the most influential people in your life, first of all, are your parents. And second of all, as a teenager, the most influential people in your life are your friends. They have influence over your life, and they can have positive influence or even negative influence. Like the friend that I had in grade 8 who thought it was no big deal to shoplift, and when he talked to me, he convinced me that it was no big deal, and you know what? I became a thief, and I ended up shoplifting a couple times with him at the mall. Why? Because he had influence, but he influenced me in the wrong direction. We need to find people who are going to influence us in the right direction. And you see, 1 Corinthians 15:33, it talks about this, and there's a couple verses. It says, bad company corrupts good character. So you can have a friend, and if they have bad character, that's going to rub off on you, and it can corrupt your character. There's another verse here as well, and that's Proverbs 13:20. And it says this, walk with the wise and become wise, for a companion of fools suffers harm. Friends matter because they have influence. So it's really important in who you spend your time with and who you choose as friends. Also, you have to understand something too, that fake friends can hurt deeply, and you don't always know they're fake right away. But fake friends can hurt deeply, really deep. And I'm just going to say, our definition of friendship has really changed over the years. When I look at my Facebook account, yes, I know, I still use Facebook. I'm old, I know. But when I look at my account, I've got 430 friends. Is that true? I'll be really honest with you. There might be people I know, but we use that same word friend for just somebody on our social media as to someone who's going to walk life with us together. So we've got to be able to distinguish our friends. And some friends, and I'll be honest with you, sometimes the ones on Facebook or on Instagram or whatever platform you use, they'll say things just to make you feel good. We've all done it. We put out a post that says, hey, do you like my new hair? And people go, oh yeah, you look beautiful, you look beautiful. And it's all whatever. That's really nice. It makes us feel good. But you know what? I'd rather have a real true friend that took me aside one day and said, Mark, your haircut's atrocious and you should never, ever shave your head again because you have an ugly bald head. But I care about you. That's why I'm telling you this. Or whatever it is, someone who's honest with me, who can share the truth in love. That's who I want. Proverbs 27:6. It talks about these negative friends, and it says this, wounds from a friend can be trusted. So I can trust if somebody tells me something that I need to change in my life, but they're a true friend, that's okay. I can trust that. But then it says this, but an enemy multiplies kisses. Now, I'm not talking like they're kissing you all over the place, but it means they'll just heap on all these compliments all the time. So it's really important that we distinguish who our true friends are and who are friends that only flatter. Because friends that only flatter, they're no friends at all. How I like to look at my friends, I look at friendship circles, okay? Like concentric circles, almost looking like a target, if you had a picture of that. And at that center, that core ring, I have my closest, best friends. And those friends I share the same faith with, and we encourage each other in our life goals of where we're heading, where we're going. That's a life of following Jesus and becoming more like Him every day. Those are my closest friends. But I've also got the next ring of friends, which is, the middle ring of friends, which they might be good friends. There's good friends, we share the same values, maybe, in life. We share the same interests, and we get along, we like being around each other, and they're not necessarily a negative influence, but in the sense that we share the values. Maybe not the same as the core friends, where we share the same faith and the same life goals and all those things, and we sharpen one another to head towards that. But that middle ring are good people, good friends, that share similar values. And then I've got this outer ring, and I call them acquaintances, and I have a lot of acquaintances. Those are people that we might share the same space, but I actually don't know them super well. They might be friends like I went to school with. I shared the same space with them every day. We saw them, I knew of them at school, but we didn't really hang out outside of school very much. We don't share the same faith. We don't share the same values, maybe. We just kind of are sharing the same space. And that's an acquaintance. We get really messed up when we try and put our acquaintances at the core. Do you understand what I'm saying? If we allow our acquaintances, people we don't know very well and don't share the same values, and we let them influence our life and speak into it, shape us, that's not good. And that's only going to bring a downfall to you, especially over summer, as you have more time to hang out with friends. So find those friends at the core, those ones that you can really count on, those friends that you can do life together with, that when you're hurting, when you're in pain, that they're actually going to walk with you. And not only walk with you, they're actually going to pick you up. They're going to carry you. and they're going to help you as much as they can. And I have friends like that. I'll be honest with you, I only have a few close friends at the core. But those few close friends, I know that they would sacrifice for me if they needed to, and they have in the past. And they walked with me, and they've cried with me. Yes, the big dogs cried. It's true. And they've been there with me. And that's why it's so important to be choosy with whom you hang, to who your friends are. Now, there's one more ring that I don't know where it fits on that target, but as I was writing this talk, I thought about it. And that's this. Do you have someone who's older that you would consider a mentor? I'll be honest with you. It's really important to have someone else in your life, a friend, who's older, maybe a little bit wiser because they've been around the block a few times, and they can help you. Maybe someone that you want to be in the future, that you look at how they're living and what they represent, you're like, man, that is a person that I would like to be. And that person shares the same faith, the same values. They're beyond it, just a core friend. Someone you want to emulate, but there's someone who's humble, who will speak into your life. It's important to find that mentor as well. And I have a few of those in my life, and I'm so thankful for it. Who are the people that you're spending most of your time with, and where do they fall on the friendship circles? Are they at the core? Are they in the middle? Or are they acquaintances on the outer ring? Make a list of what you think is important in a friend. What characteristics and all those things. Make a list and what you're aiming for in finding a friend. It's important to know that, but when you start to look for friends, not just accepting whoever comes by. But on the flip side, look at that list and ask yourself, are you a quality friend? Are you meeting those same characteristics and principles that are there? And lastly, consider finding a mentor. Because if you want your summer to be the best that it can be, then you're going to be choosy with whom you hang, because they have influence on you. And you know what? This phrase has always stuck with me. People say it all the time. If you show me your friends, I'll show you your future. And I think that is super true. So be choosy with whom you hang. All right, well, tune in next week as we look at our summer survival tip number 2. Till then, we'll talk to you later. And by the way, avoid all bears. That's my hint. Bye-bye.